How about Ms. Fulford? Be able to hear me?
Yes.
All right, let me read this to you. This says that back on November 26th of last year on 10th Street there in Wayland Township, you had a driving while license suspended. You also had a ticket for expired plates. That ticket for expired plates is not punishable by jail time, but it is punishable by additional fines and costs. You understand both your things, both your charges?
I don't understand. I submitted the affidavit of truth and fact to the court on 11/29/23. I then submitted a notice of default judgment of a rebutted affidavit on 1/3/23. I have all the receipts of proof, and I'm here to see if that matter is closed.
All right. So do you want to plead guilty or not guilty to your misdemeanor charge?
Not guilty.
All right. And if that goes all the way to trial, would you like that trial to be in front of a jury or in front of a judge?
Shouldn't go to trial, it's unrebutted.
From my understanding, it shouldn't go to trial. It's unrebutted. I haven't heard back from my affidavit yet.
Man, we don't deal with all that UCC stuff.
To tell you the truth, I don't give a shit.
You can say all of it, but this is a court of law, and we go by those rules. You can enter a plea of guilty or enter a plea of not guilty. What would you like to do? You said not guilty. I'm writing you down for a jury trial. You can continue to represent yourself for free, or you could hire an attorney. I'll give you a $300 PR bond. Personal recognizance, please don't drive without the valid driver's license till those dates. Is this a good address for you on 4th Street?
Yes.
All right. So you will get a next court date sent out to you on that at that address on 4th Street. That'll be the next time you're doing court. First time you get to talk to someone from the prosecutor's office, hopefully resolve your matter. But you are all set for today. You can go ahead and go.
Will you hand me my screen box? Now go.
These are two cases where we do have a situation with cross petitions. And with Mr. Pardee and Ms. Pardee, if you could come on your screen, that would be great. For the record, and Shannon Pardee is a petitioner in 23-000378. Mr. Eaton is the respondent. And then in the case 23-00435, Mr. Eaton's a petitioner. Ms. Pardee's, both parties are respondents. In that case, this isn't a new situation. Well, somewhat new to me, I think. Both Mr. Eaton and the Pardees have been listed as petitioners and respondents in a few cases in the past involving each other. No permanent order has been entered. As far as I can tell, feel free to, either party can stand to correct me. The last time you were in court was in, okay, let me double check this. Well, there was a case that was filed in November 17th, but it looks like that was dismissed. I think the last time folks were actually in court speaking to the judicial officer was in August. And so a lot has been filed. Some of the things predate the August filing, which I think has already been litigated. I'm not too interested in any of that. Although I did review what was filed, some videos, which frankly a lot of videos don't reflect well on any of the parties who are in front of me here today. But Ms. Pardee, and I'll start with you first. You're the petitioner on 23-0000378. Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, Your Honor.
You can put your hand down. And how is it that you need an order against Mr. Eaton? And like I say, what I'm going to be interested in is things that have happened since the last time you were in court. I think a judge made a ruling pretty much to things up to there. Go ahead.
Everything I've submitted to you has been recent. And it's not any old stuff. This is a continuing, ongoing issue. Mr. Eaton doesn't stop.
I would like you to testify as to the specific things that are in the record. So just tell me what's been going on out there.
When I try to leave our home, Mr. Eaton has a sign up above with these bright lights flooded right at the exit of our driveway on a fence that he put up illegally in the beginning of the year. And it's just to annoy. There's chairs there. You can't see when you leave. When we're trying to leave, he throws up his middle finger, calls me a fucking cunt. Try to go out of the driveway like I've written to you, 15-year-old kid in the morning, going to school, and he's out there screaming, calling me a fucking cunt and giving us the finger. Last week when I was trying to take a kid to school, I don't even know if I've had a chance to write this to submit it. As we're passing his house, it's 5:43 in the morning. I'm taking the kid to school because he goes early for gym. And this guy's up in his house as we're passing with a spotlight, spotlighting us through the window. Do you know how bright a spotlight is? Besides the fact that Mr. Eaton knows that I have a light disorder and a sensory disorder to that, as well as noise, and he keeps on. It's childish, Your Honor. He's mad about his land disturbance issue, and he keeps trying to create some issue where I haven't spoken to him, talked to him, nothing since before summer of 2022. All of these incidents are simply Mr. Eaton either running out of his driveway, running down the road, anything at my kids. The kids leave their front door. He's out there yelling, calling them a fag and giving them a finger. We have a locked gate to keep away from him. We go to the gate. There he is giving us the finger. The video I submitted to you, giving the finger. The man cannot leave us alone. He drives past the house to give him the finger. Matthew was home the other night by himself. He went to empty the fireplace ashes in the garbage can that was up by the road because the garbage hasn't come yet. And I get home and Matthew says, Mom, I'm just emptying the ashes. And he drives past, giving me the finger, yelling, fuck you.
This is the song that doesn't end.
He's 12. 12. Mr. Eaton does not live in a family home. He lives in his mother's house. He's not a resident of this community. He doesn't care about this community. And he's angry because we have to file a land use action because he filled in an entire hill and it's now flooding my property. So not only am I subjected to his torment every day when I try to go to the grocery store, get my kid to school, I can't even have a caregiver now. The state will not send out a caregiver because he keeps harassing my care people. What gives him the right to yell at my guests, my company, my care people, my medical professionals? And I have to go around and protect all these? I can't. He will not stop. He's at that driveway over the hill all the time. So now I cannot, I'm supposed to have surgery. I need care people and they will not come here. I'm in the middle of that. The one guy's so afraid he won't even make a statement because he doesn't want Mr. Eaton to know where he lives or who he is. And now I have to deal with Adult Protective Services because I'm a vulnerable adult. They have to come out here because the caregivers won't come out because Mr. Eaton won't leave them alone. This is new. This isn't old stuff. This isn't his BS saying that I don't behave or I've done this and that. This is all just recent. Even yesterday, he's still up there. Finger, music, noise. Who runs? One, we live in a residential neighborhood. This guy runs his dump truck for up to an hour at a time, filling it full of noise and diesel smoke. I mean, it's awful. Fine, I'll take care of that. But in the interim, by not giving me an order, it's subjecting our kids to constant emotional abuse.
Did you have any additional witnesses you wish to have testify?
I do not. No offense, Your Honor, but I haven't exactly felt heard by you. So no.
Okay, I'm going to stop you for a second. You haven't been in front of me. Ma'am, stop, please. Yeah, you haven't been in front of me. I haven't heard any of these cases. So you're not offending me because I haven't decided any of these cases. So don't worry about that. But I just want to clarify that I wasn't the judge who sat in any of these cases.
But I didn't drag anybody down here because I didn't think that you would let them be heard.
Okay.
You see what I mean? Not very bright.
So let me hear from Mr. Eaton. Mr. Eaton, could you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear and affirm that testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and you're asking for an order against both parties. I'll hear from you, and again, on new information, things that that have happened since the last time you were in court, again, with regard to both parties. And then you can respond to what Ms. Party had said. And then Ms. Party, I'll come back to you and you can, I'll allow you to respond to what I hear from Mr. Eaton. And Mr. Party, he's listed as a respondent, so I can hear from him also in the case brought by Mr. Eaton. So Mr. Eaton, go ahead. You've been sworn, so
Yes,
I'll hear from you.
Obviously, you can see what I'm dealing with. I think we should call all those people in. Absolutely. They need to be, if they're their witnesses, they need to be here present for this, because none of this has happened. 99% of the stuff that she has told the courts today has happened. I have not done any of these things.
Well, hang on just a second. I did see some video, which what appeared to me is you, for lack of a better term, giving her the finger. I mean, did you not see
Is that my cell phone or is that the finger?
It looked to me like the finger.
Going up my driveway the day I got a film
You was there, it looked like when I saw it,
on the 29th.
when you were, and again, I can't remember the date right now, but
It was the
it
29th.
looked like you were walking.
Yes, it was the 29th. I was at Lana's, her neighbors.
And I saw something with some cell phone too.
Yes, the neighbor locked herself out of her car. I walked over to help her. I was over there helping her. The tow truck driver showed up. Lana and her have an ongoing thing also. She just recently, this year, last year, 2023, chased Aubrey with a rake, and there's a police report on that.
I don't know.
No, she chased my neighbor, Lana. So I was at Lana's house that's next door to Shannon Party's house. They have an ongoing argument going also. Shannon ended up chasing her daughter, Lana's daughter, Aubrey, with a rake. There's a police report on this. The other neighbor, Cindy Guppy, she's also chased their child down the road and wanted to press charges for burglary charges that their autistic child was in their driveway. I mean, she has police reports with all the neighbors around her. It's just not me, Your Honor. I mean, this is ongoing. The lady in her backyard, she calls a fat, fleshy arm lady. Ongoing with, I mean, it's just, I mean, all my neighbors, I've been neighbors with these people 30, 40 years. They're afraid of her because what you're seeing here in this court today is what they do not want to get involved in. We've been in this process for over a year now.
I can see that.
And they just she can't control herself. Every time we go home after a court date, Judge Wohl or Commissioner Wohl, she bashed him on Facebook. And just, if you read did you read it? It was in my exhibits. I mean, just tore him apart. Anytime that she's not happy with anyone, she just goes after him. She went after Evergreen Shores Homeowner Association, sued them for years. She makes all this stuff up. None of this stuff is really true. Maybe a little bit. Like I said, 99% of it isn't. Then after her and Bill lost that case, she went after the people that were on the board. Each individual ones had lawsuits against them. And her John and Jessica Knutson were on the board for Evergreen Shores. They were her neighbors at one time also. They have foster children. She attacked them also, turned them into CPS. I mean, this woman cannot stop with the neighbors. Jessica Knutson and John actually moved because of Shannon. I mean, this is an ongoing thing with everyone. Now she's sitting there she's trying to bring me into Superior Court over some land issue. She said, I filled my yard in. And that was in 2007. I had a grading permit because I did some work on my yard. I brought some topsoil for landscaping. They didn't move into their home till late 2014-15. They're going back to public records, anything she can do to sabotage me and my business, saying that I'm trying to run them over in my dump truck. I got dates here that she put on her declaration stating on Friday, 10/56, November 17th, her kid was outside in the yard and I was saying, hey. These dates, I wasn't even in town. I was out of state, or not out of state. I was on the other side in Eastern Washington. I mean, and I could prove it. I have videos, pictures. I mean, this woman cannot stop. And Bill knows it. And Bill is forced to protect her. And the Evergreen Shores, everyone's watching this. This is huge. She got kicked off the Evergreen Shores board out there. She was on the board. If she wanted to address any issues at that time, she could have addressed them when she was on the board. And now she's attacking me because She has it out for me, and she will not leave me alone. This is what she does. This is free training for Miss Pardee. She enjoys this. She builds her cases more and more and more. The more she can do this and drag it out. And anyone in any of her cases, even when I talked to the lawyer for Evergreen Storm Message, she goes, she's going to hold it. She's going to continue this as long as she can, Mr. Eaton. This is what she did to us. It was a painful draw, and oh my God, it never stops. I mean, I wish I could bring all my neighbors in, but they're so afraid of her, of going through the same thing I'm going through right now. But yeah, they're pulling things out, that court cases that have been closed. This has been thrown out twice. I have nothing to do with her children. This is between Miss Pardee not getting her way, and poor Bill over there has to stick up for her. Bill don't want to be any part of this. The guy lives in his car.
You speak for yourself. I'll let Mr. Pardee speak for himself.
Okay, well, Bill lives in his car outside the gate half the time, sleeping in his car. She doesn't allow him to sleep in the house. They're married supposedly, but he's not allowed to live there. He hasn't lived there for years. She has a problem with Bill. She has a problem with her children. I just witnessed a possible overdose attempt by her oldest son, Jonathan. Both her kids are wonderful kids. They have been mentally abused for years. And you could probably ask her adult children. They've been through the same thing with her. So, I had to contact the Thurston County Police because I witnessed something that I was concerned that Jonathan might have possibly overdosed. She was begging her husband to take Jonathan to the hospital because he took a bunch of Benadryl and some other stuff, and she wasn't sure. Bill was like saying, get in the house. She kept saying, no, take him to the hospital, take him to the hospital. Bill walked the kid up the driveway, and the kid says, I don't want to go to the hospital. Bill goes, we're not going to the hospital. But I mean, this goes on. The little kid comes up and pleads to the dad and says, you need to come down here and get your son. He's effing tweaking and he's high. And he goes, tell him to come up. And he goes, he can't move. You need to come get him.
Ma'am,
it just goes on and on and on.
Stop you for a second. And so, first of all, ma'am, I prefer that you not interrupt when other people are talking. And secondly, but on the other hand, she's kind of right. This doesn't really have anything to do with, I'm asking why you need an order against her.
Well, to protect myself from all these cases, all the stuff she's presenting here. The one time she has me on camera walking by her house is because I have to go to court again, right? And if you guys were gonna do a temporary anti-harassment order, I wouldn't be able to get within the distance of the ditch to film why she's taking me to court, saying I caused damages for foundation, blah, blah, blah. So when I got permission from Lana, when I went over there to help her because she was locked out of her car, I walked by Miss Pardee's front yard. I took a picture of the culvert pipe in Lana's yard. I went over to Mike's. I took a picture of Mike's culvert pipe. Shannon, I walked along Shannon's front yard on the road, and everyone walks back and forth their dogs. There's no anti-harassment, no reason that I can't walk by her house. I filmed the ditch that is completely filled in where she allows parking for two of her businesses. People come and go all the time, turn around people's driveways. That makes all of our dogs bark. It's ongoing. She's got people dropping dogs off and people going. I mean, it just never stops. So that's why I walked by her place and filmed the ditch, because I'm going to Superior Court and the courts need the evidence that I need to submit to them in the next hearing they're dragging me through. So I mean, one court case after the next court case. And why is all this? Why now? They've lived there since late 2014, 15, and she's viciously attacking me. I can't go out my house. She's got reports. Oh, he started his truck at 7:15. Oh, he ran it for 10 minutes. Oh, he started his truck. Now he's moving his motorhome. Now he's doing this. She walks, me and the neighbor were standing in the road. She came by and I was like, oh, great, here comes such and such. She comes driving by. The neighbor's my witness. I get the dog. I walk across the street. She says I lunged at her car and stopped her from going in fear. But Darla Burkett, as a total witness, saw the whole thing. She said she was willing to testify. Well, guess what? Shannon got the papers and Darla Burkett's name's in the papers. She went on Messenger. They're not friends. Why everyone's on Shannon's Messenger, her pages for Concern for Evergreen Shores, is because all the harassing things that she did to everyone out there, so they like to follow it. She is followed by 300 people had to vote her off the board because she's threatened to shoot at dogs and people. I mean, this woman, it's stacked so high.
What about you're asking for an order against Mr. Parker?
Okay, I want protection from her because she continued lying, and these are all these lies. Her dragging me into courts for no reason.
She said that you used a word that begins with C.
With her,
did you call her that?
When she drove by. I had my dog. We got over to this. My girlfriend, my not wife's girlfriend is what she calls him. We got to the side of the road. Her window was rolled up. I looked at Darla. I said, "Effing cunt." Yes, I did say that. Her window was up.
Not to her.
Not to her. No. And my neighbor's the witness and saw the whole thing. Shannon's looking straight forward, not even looking at me. Her window rolled up, and I got it on video. There's so much stuff I didn't want to submit
But again,
because you already got too much.
Again, Mr. Pardee, is he a part of this?
Mr. Pardee, he likes to, him and I definitely have some verbal, he's jealous of me and Shannon because me and Shannon were really close friends for a long time. And I think he thought me and Shannon
Wait a
had,
minute, you and Ms. Pardee were friends?
yeah, for like 7 years.
All right.
I mean, I got all the screenshots when she was suing Evergreen Shores. They kicked her off the Facebook page. So I took screenshots and I'd send them to her because she couldn't get them from anyone else. And I still have all that stuff. I mean, everything. I helped her for years, unfortunately, try to sue Evergreen Shores and the people on the board. And I can show the phone where I sent them to her.
So let me hear from Mr. Pardee. Mr. Pardee, could you raise your right hand, please? You swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, Your Honor.
I'll hear from you. What's your position on all of this?
Well, I haven't heard much about why I'm named as a respondent. The stuff against my wife seems to be fairly old. That's fine. And some of this I'm to blame for because I did file a lawsuit against the HOA back in 2018. I don't know what that has to do with today, not much. I mean, I end up I went to the Court of Appeals. I lost that case. Lawyers do lose cases once in a while, so I lost that case. It had nothing to do with Mr. Eaton. It had to do with the HOA. I have filed, to make the court aware under 7105 sub 4 RCW, I have filed, Mr. Eaton's correct, I have filed a cause of action against him, Eaton Trucking LLC, his trucking company, his mother, Marilyn Eaton, who owns his property, and I've also filed it against Thurston County Superior Court, Thurston County Superior Court cause number 23-2-03894-34. So I just wanted to make the court aware of that if they were not. My guess is the court is aware of that. That is a pending litigation that was just filed in November, and we haven't even gotten full answers from every defendant yet. So that discovery will be ongoing. So that'll go on for a while. But if the court thinks that that's a frivolous action, as Mr. Eaton's suggesting, he can defend that, and then the court can rule on that ultimately. I think that really has nothing to do. I don't think that's abusive litigation. In his petition, I'm responding directly to his petition against me. He mentions he's afraid because we filed, and I think he checked the box for abusive litigation in 2650-1020. That regards domestic violence or people that are intimate partners. Me and Mr. Eaton are not intimate partners as far as I know. Maybe him and my wife, he alleges, were intimate partners at one time. I'm not sure what he's alleging today, but I am not an intimate partner with him. The box he checked, Your Honor, has nothing to do with abusive litigation. Obviously, if anybody could run in and get anti-harassment orders when a civil action is filed in Superior Court and District Court, that'd be an interesting kind of separation of the two court systems. You can use one court system to prevent litigation and another. I don't think that's what was intended by the legislature. I will mention, he talked about, I did download that video for my wife and we submitted it to court. The video you're talking about where he recently walked around the property, he actually flipped her off twice, the video camera twice, when he was going over past our Riquettes, and when he circled around back up to his second driveway, which we're litigating, he flipped her off again. So you're correct, Your Honor, he flipped her off twice. He does admit that he yelled fucking cunt. He was doing that because he saw my wife coming with her car. My oldest son was in the car, and I think I explained that in my declaration, in her declaration. There's also a mental health matters sign. We submitted photos of that, which has floodlights on our property. It's not a security issue. It's on top of a hill 20 feet above the right of way. It shines on my wife's property all the time. It drives her nuts. It's there when my kid catches a bus stop. It says mental health matters on it. And it has spotlights pointed towards our house. That's in addition to him continually harassing my family by yelling that they're, basically disparaging kind of obscene names. He does that pretty frequently. We've had arguments in the past. That's because he's driven my family crazy. He routinely calls my kids disparaging names out. All we're asking for today, Your Honor, you don't have to put an order in of him against me. I'm not asking for an order. I'm asking for an order for my kids and my wife, because all I want to stop is the language. We can sort it out in Superior Court. Wherever that goes, it goes. That's what litigation is all about. People have a right to file land use actions. Now that litigation is fairly complex. It's not as simple as Mr. Eaton describes it. He's not a lawyer, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But it has nuisance claims. It has intentional infliction of emotional distress. It has zoning actions. I think his operation of a trucking business in the neighborhood is a violation of the Thurston County zoning code, RL21. We'll get into that when we get to Superior Court. There's other actions too against the county for negligence and failing to stop him from filling his property back in 2007. That has caused water issues. That's 15 feet into the right of way, Your Honor. I can prove that. I have evidence of it. This is all stuff that will come out in Superior Court. But what we need during the pendency of that action, and I also attached, let me mention, Your Honor, before I get off here, I did attach the letter, because it was mentioned specifically in Mr. Eaton's petition, the letter I sent to his mother back in, I think in December of 2022. This is over a year and a half ago is what he's talking about. I gave you a copy of the letter because I wanted you to see it. It's a typical demand letter that we all learn about in law school, Your Honor. It's a 7-page demand letter. I go through the law. I kind of cite the cases. I'm basically giving the owner a chance to reach out and talk to me. They never did. And now, ever since I filed that and filed stuff with the county in preparation for a claim with the county, which I did in prerequisite to my cause of action in Superior Court, this is when it all blew up. This is when he became enraged by the fact that I filed a cause of action. He's trying to bait me by saying, "Oh, I'm jealous of him and my wife's relationship." I don't care if my wife has friends. I've never been a jealous type in that regard. But I mean, they were friends at one time, so be it. They're not anymore, obviously. I think the judge hit that on the head. I don't think they're going to be friends anytime soon. But I'm not a possessive husband. And he talks about how I live in my car. So be it, Your Honor. What does that have to do with me harassing him? Nothing. He wants to humiliate me. So be it. I don't know what that accomplishes, but it's wasting the court's time. He's filed basically hundreds of pages of old stuff from previous actions. And the one classic example is, I think, dishonesty with the court, and his credibility, I think, is diminished. He says that I chased him down the street, but he doesn't give a date. I gave you the date, Your Honor. It was January 5th of 2023. Over a year ago, I chased him down the street. You know what I was doing? I wasn't a party to the action. I was actually representing my wife at the time. All I did was trying to serve documents on him. He was less than 50 feet away from me. I said, "Mr. Eaton, here's some documents." You know what he did? He ran down the street yelling, "He has a gun." He knows I don't own a gun. He did that to try to get me shot. He's a dangerous man. He's very aggravated by this lawsuit. I think he's indicated that he's very aggravated by a civil lawsuit. He's lost control, and he wants to keep on harassing my family. His goal, I've overheard him up there talking to other people, is to get my family to move. His goal in harassing them daily is to get them to move. That's why he idles his truck at all hours of the day for endless amounts of time. He's not going anywhere with his truck. He's idling it because he wants to drive her crazy. It's noise, it's pollution, it's regulated in industrial districts. It shouldn't even be in a residential district, but we'll get into that in Superior Court. That's not for you today, Honor. But I want to point out that this is a serious matter. The HOA lawsuit that I lost has nothing to do with it. I've lost lawsuits in the past, and I've won lawsuits in the past. It doesn't make me a good or bad lawyer. You might say I'm a bad lawyer. Maybe Mr. Eaton thinks that. That's fine. But lawyers file lawsuits all the time. There's litigation in the courts. One side loses, one side wins. I'll let you go, Your Honor. Thank you for the time today.
Do I get to respond to that at all?
Yeah, you can bring that. Now I'll come back to you, Ms. Barty. I have a question. Came up on the top. Both Mr. and Ms. Barty brought this up. What's the story on these lights and this mental health matters sign?
I've had a sign on my fence for a long time.
Yeah, how long?
Oh, geez, probably over a year.
Okay.
I had to build a fence.
Since all this came up?
Before this. I had to build that fence because of the harassment I was getting from the party. It's out of pocket.
Okay, so wait a minute. So then the sign came after the harassment started. Is that what you're saying?
No, the harassment.
You just said it's on the fence now, right?
It's on the fence.
Okay, and so you said you built the fence because of the harassment. So obviously it wasn't on the fence. The harassment started before the fence was built. Was that sign up there before that?
It was a difference. She was filming me. We didn't get to the courts yet. She was filming me in the dump truck trying to leave. So that's when I put to protect myself, because there was phone calls.
But I want to know when the sign went up.
The sign went up after she started filming me.
Okay.
And then
why would you do that?
Because she was threatening to sugar my gas tank and kill me.
Okay.
She was like, she would get out there and yell. There's so much stuff I haven't presented, Your Honor.
Go ahead. I'll hear from you. You wanted to respond. I'll let you respond.
No, I just protection order from Bill, because just like Bill, said himself, he says he was trying to serve me papers. I had no idea that Bill was trying to serve me papers. The prior day before Bill chased me down the street, they went to the police department and said that I tried to run them over and kill them in my dump truck. So then Bill, the next day, Bill comes around the corner of his car at a high rate of speed. He jumps out. I'm looking right. His eye locked on me and he starts running at me. Well, I see he's got something in his pocket. So I'm concerned. I'm like, what the heck? You know, because just prior they said I tried to kill him. And I'm like, well, you know, does he have a knife? Why does he have his hand in his pocket? So I took off running for the neighbor's house. I took off running to my house. He cut me off where I couldn't get in my driveway. So I took off running to the neighbor's house. I was going too fast. I couldn't turn. So I just kept going. He chased me probably 400 or 500 yards until a neighbor said, hey, started screaming at Bill. And then I got stuck in the neighbor's fence in the backyard and I couldn't get over their fence. So I called 911 and was on 911 for the whole time while I was hiding in the woods. And you can hear all the neighbors' dogs barking and stuff. So I was afraid that Bill was still out there. They actually picked me up 2 blocks down the road, the sheriff's department. So that's just one incident. Then he sits there and parks outside our backyard across the street. Him and I get in arguments. He left, big deal. He came back around and started another argument with me. He's saying that my mom slept with her brother and had me. I mean, it just, my sperm doesn't swim. Is that why he didn't have kids? He's cussing and swearing at me. It's all on video. I've never submitted any of these videos. The only videos I submit are the police videos. And then when the police come out, you can see Mr. Pardee is sitting there saying, I don't know if he identifies a woman or man. I mean, he's getting aggressive. I mean, to me, this is aggressive. You don't live in this neighborhood. Why are you coming around? And you know, my girlfriend can't even walk outside with the dogs anymore. Yes, we do have a flashlight. I got a flashlight for Christmas. Big deal. It's a flashlight. She signed it the day that Shannon might be complaining about something, and my girlfriend's a witness. She was out there with the dogs. So Shannon drove by early in the morning. My girlfriend shined the flashlight down the road. Was my girlfriend trying to cause Miss Shannon to wreck or do any of this? No, obviously not. My girlfriend has nothing to do with Shannon. But they're going to make it sound like all this stuff. Just like I said, in these dates and times of things they post on here, none of this happened. Let's just go back to Bill, though. You know, he just continues harassing, you know, bringing me in all these lawsuits, multiple lawsuits. I mean, why? Why now, Your Honor? When they were on the board, they could have addressed any of these issues when they were on the board for the Evergreen Homeowners Association. But since Shannon tried to kill herself, Bill was actually at the house and her good friend Darcy was there. Darcy knew that Shannon and I were really good friends at that time. So I was talking to Darcy, explaining to Darcy what I've been witnessing, and she was having problems with the children and Bill. You know, so when Bill showed up there, it was the first time I got a chance to talk to Bill because he hasn't been there for years. And I said, hey, man, this is what's going on. You know, maybe you should know, because Darcy said it wasn't good. Didn't think she was going to make it. Shannon took a bunch of pills or something. She ended up going to the psych ward for a while afterwards to get help. Like I said, I'm not here to ruin their family. The best interest of, you know, the kids and, you know, the neighbors have all witnessed. There's been multiple reports. And that's why we're here, is because the phone calls to Child Protective Services, I was the only one that didn't know that when you make these phone calls, you're supposed to remain anonymous. And I didn't. So she believes that I'm the one that's been calling CPS on her. It's not. It's all the neighbors around her. Her poor kids have never even got to play in the streets or anything, because it just goes on and on, Your Honor. I just need protection because Shannon will not stop, and she has proof in all of her lawsuits with everyone. She just does not give up. She doesn't stop. She won't. And here I am, I missed another day of work. You know how many days of work I've missed? This is, you know, saying I run my truck. Yes, I can run my truck if I want to, Your Honor. I can play music if I want to. I'm not harassing her. Anything I do, she feels that I'm harassing her. You know, I got no problems with Bill. Bill don't like me, and that's fine. I never had problems with Shannon until a year ago. I mean, I don't know why they're coming after me, Your Honor.
I'm going to latch on to what you said. I said, I got no problems from Bill, but you're asking for an order.
Well, when he's chasing me down the road, like,
okay, so I mean,
that's my problem.
An order against him or not?
I didn't have problems with Bill until he started chasing me. Yes, I would like to I'd like to be protected. Why should I live in fear? I live there. He doesn't.
Well, he does.
Well, because he gets, Your Honor, if he's there, he's long enough there to drop off some milk and maybe pick up a kid and drop a kid off. He does not ever, the few nights that he spends in his car on the street is it.
Because he watches us all the time.
Hey, ma'am. Okay, hang on just a second.
And, you know, the other judge said there was nothing wrong with my signs. What's wrong with my sign? It's Christmas lights. I had a Christmas tree up once, and she said I was intimidating and harassing her by having a little tiny 6-foot Christmas tree with white lights on it. I have pictures and videos of her on her porch, yodeling, doing some crazy things with so many bright lights that it's just a blur. And she has lights on her front yard now. She has red and blue lights just like I do in her front yard. How come they don't bother her, but my red and blue lights across the street bother her? And the spotlights they're saying, there's 60-watt light bulbs. A 60-watt, it's not a spotlight. They just over dramatize everything. That's why I need protection. All I'm doing is trying to go to work. You know, my mom is being drugged into these courts. My mom's 70 years old. She's like, what is going on, honey? I'm like, these people just won't stop. That's it. I mean, they just will not ever leave me alone until, and here's the deal. If you do an anti-harassment order protection, this is what they did the last time. All she tried to do is get me in trouble. So I had to protect myself. So anytime that she came within the distance, I had to call Thurston County. Well, they even said, they even have the videos and everything that we submitted to you that she broke it. They forwarded this stuff to the prosecuting attorney. But the thing is how this court system works. If you don't have it in 5 days prior, they don't get it. So guess what? We missed that window. We continue missing the windows. You know, this is not my full-time job. This is Shannon's job. Shannon doesn't work. Shannon has, I don't know what Shannon does.
You know what your problem is, huh? You're so goddamn bored you gotta invent things to bitch about. You haven't got a single thing on this earth to do except for your hair.
She's got people coming to go drop dogs off.
Okay, so ma'am, you just need to.
She collects free money. I mean, there's just, like I said, I knew Shannon for a long time, so I know what Shannon's capable of. That's why I'm afraid of Shannon, because she will not stop this process. And she's going to continue. Like I said, this has been over a year. What have I really done? What one picture, maybe me flipping her off with the phone, or who knows? I mean, not her. It'd be her camera. I've never personally flipped Shannon off. She knows that. I don't even see her kids. Like I said, her kids are not allowed to play in Evergreen Shores because of all the lawsuits they've had against people there. So everyone's afraid. They don't want their kids. They don't want Shannon's kids around, you know. And then when the Shannon's kids were able, when they first moved there, they were showing bruises. The parents were concerned for the children. This is this talk. It just goes on and on. So yeah, I need protection from both of them.
So here's what Ms. Pardee, do you want to say anything?
Your Honor, there were never any bruises, and Mr. Eaton's continuous inflammatory statements about my children being abused, that's more harassment. It is not true. And my children are tired of it. I am tired of it. I don't just need the harassment order and protection, Your Honor. My children do. Mr. Eaton is the one that runs out to the road. Mr. Eaton is the one that is out there at the road. Yes, let's bring Mrs. Burkett in. As she's standing there, closing her eyes, turning her head, as he's repeatedly calling me a fucking cunt with my 15-year-old in the car. When I am what? Trying to leave the neighborhood on the public right-of-way that was put there for me to leave. And with Mr. Eaton's illegal fill, I can't go to the right or the left now because he's got an illegal driveway to the left. So and with the fence and then everything else he put up there, imagine, Your Honor, you're talking over 500 dump truck loads of dirt. So he took the ditch away, rose up at his
So ma'am, I'm not interested in any of the dirt or any of the, that doesn't matter.
Dynamic is. Instead of it being an egress to a house, he's now with a hill and a fence right over the road. I can't even go to my mailbox. If I go to my mailbox, it's over by him, and then he yells at me, fucking cat. I have video last night as I'm just trying to exit with Jonathan from my dash cam of him behind the fence giving me the finger. That's a daily occurrence if he's there. He's not trying to ignore us.
Let's see these daily videos. We need to see daily videos. Every day, she's got to turn the water down her yard.
Okay, so just
Your Honor, I have to take
ma'am,
daily because it keeps track of the noise levels. 40 minutes, 60 minutes of a dump truck or a diesel truck idling in this neighborhood for no reason at all. They don't go to work.
So,
they're just there idling.
So ma'am, I'm going to stop you. Okay. And I'm ready to rule. And here's what's going to happen today. You know, first of all, I guess I don't know whether I should say this or not. Every time I say that and then say it, people told me I shouldn't have said it, but I'm going to say it right now. You know, that individual seated to your left should not be here for all this. They just shouldn't. I don't know how old that person is, whether he looks to be 13, 14, maybe 12, 13, but this is not an appropriate thing for him to be involved in. It's just not. So there's that. Second thing that Mr. Pardee made a comment about lawsuits. You know, I've won some, I've lost some, and all that sort of stuff. And what's going to happen today is everyone's going to win, everyone's going to lose. So I'm granting both orders, both Mr. Eaton's orders against the parties, and I'll grant your order against Mr. Eaton. And the parameters of the order, there's not going to be a distance restriction. So you don't need to worry about coming. You can't go onto their property, but you can't do that anyway, because that's that would be trespassing, of course. The basis for the order on behalf of Mrs. Pardee is that you did, by your own testimony, apparently flipped off. You did use the word that she apparently heard. She wouldn't have, he said her window was open, but she found it out somehow. So, I mean, obviously that was heard. I would find that that's harassing behavior. The pattern be shown by Ms. Pardee and Mr. Pardee. And again, I did look at the whole file, and I didn't look at the other orders, but everything that's been submitted, you know, and I obviously I'm not out there. I don't live out there. I don't know what's going on. But if a quarter of this, if an eighth of this is accurate, and I believe we've reached that threshold, this is just no way to live from either party, either the parties or Mr. Eaton. And so for the next year, the parameters of the order is going to be, and again, I'll find that both have engaged in patterns of conduct that have harassed the others. And basically the order is issues not to cause you any physical harm, not to contact, including the minors. Don't engage with the minors, and don't engage in stalking behavior. There is not a stay away provision given the proximity that you live to each other. There's not like, don't come within, don't be out there with a tape measure. Don't come within 500 feet. Don't come in with 100 feet or anything like that. You guys just can't talk to each other, can't communicate with each other, and just don't be involved in each other's lives, which is what I think you both want. So what does that mean?
Your Honor, can I ask a question?
I'm not done yet, Mr. Pardee. I'm not done yet. And that doesn't mean that I'm not trying to regulate how Mr. Eaton runs his garbage trucks or anything like that. There's just, I don't have any control over that. And I don't, what he has to do for that, that's not necessarily, you might think it's harassing, but it's not. The basis for these orders are the interaction and communication or lack thereof that is communicated, that has been gone back and forth between the parties. There's lights. I'm not regulating any placements of any lights or anything like that either. I mean, again, I just can't, what might seem harassing to you isn't necessarily, or I can't objectively find as harassing behavior, but the harassing behavior, again, is the verbal interaction between all parties that has been shown through the filings as well as the testimony here in court today. Mr. Pardee, I'm done now. And so now I guess when Mr. Eaton earlier had said that you got on whatever social media website you referenced and trashed the previous judicial officer, maybe you both can get on there and trash me here today, but neither one of you should have any communication with the other. So I'm granting your order, Mr. Pardee, that he's not to have contact with you, but it's going both ways. Mr. Pardee, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, it's sort of important, Your Honor. I mean, you're putting an order in against me. I don't think there's any evidence of any harassment by me, but that's fine. Also, I'm the attorney. I have to talk to the other side. I have to serve documents on them. Well, we have an agreement to do email service. Are you going to make an exception for that, Your Honor?
I'm going to stop you, Mr. Pardee, and say, yes, I will include language in there. It says, except in the course of litigation. And what's that cause number in Superior Court?
I'll give it to you now, Your Honor. 23-2-03894-34. And I have an agreement with Mr. Eaton by email.
Just wait a minute. Let me make sure I get that number. Except 03894-34?
Yeah, 23-2-03894-34.
All right.
Your Honor, what contact am I supposed to, or what harassing? I don't understand. I haven't talked to him. I don't talk to him. I get in my car and I try to leave. How is it that I'm harassing him?
There she goes.
Ma'am, I've said before, based on the filings, combined with your testimony, I'll make a finding that you have engaged in harassing behavior, and an order is going to be entered.
Yeah, well, if you could explain to me what that harassing behavior is, I'd like to know so that I can prevent doing it in the future. And you haven't told me or proven to me that I've done anything. So it's very confusing. So I'm asking you to point out what that harassing behavior is so that I can get with my caregiver and we can make sure that doesn't happen in the future.
In the future, what I want to see going forward in the future is just no communication or interaction with Mr. Eaton at all.
I do not talk to Mr. Eden or interact with him at all. Do I
Okay.
record my front yard?
based on the-
You bet
Okay,
I
yeah.
do, and I'm gonna keep doing it. I don't talk to him. I try to leave my driveway. He's the one that comes and yells at me. So I'm asking again for you to clarify how I stop harassing him when I don't talk to him, I don't flip him off, I don't go near him, I simply leave my driveway, enter and exit. So how is it you would like me to not harass him when I'm already not doing anything? What more would you like me to not do? Would you like me to stop breathing? Because I'm really confused.
What are you talking about? Why are you being a dramatic moron?
You know, Judge Wilcox
Okay,
made it where he couldn't represent her.
Stop.
Judge Meyer, I'm very confused though. One thing, what did I do to harass Mr. Eaton? He's talking about
Yes,
an
I
incident
did
that happened in January. That's unfair, Your Honor. You're putting an order against me.
Completely.
I don't even live there, allegedly. You're putting an order against me. I've never harassed Mr. Eden. I mean,
You're
I tried to
allowing
serve
Mr.
him back in
Eden to
January.
keep
There's
him
no
away
proof
from
in the
harassing
file.
me.
There's no proof in the file that I harassed him at all. I'm
None.
an attorney in the state of Washington. You're putting an order against another attorney for what? What did I do?
And
I've
you're
done
allowing
anything.
Mr. Eden to keep the kids'
But
dad
so
away
be it.
from helping us. He already said, Jeff already admitted Bill hasn't done anything to him. Oh, we're almost buds, but I want this order. And
So when I
there
go to
you are.
court now, Your Honor, I have to be fearful that I'll be set up. When I go
That's
to court now,
exactly
when I
what
walk
you're
into the
doing.
courthouse, I will be set up by Mr. Eden. Thank you. Because now I can't go to court without feeling safe because I have a no contact order that you're putting
Oh,
in
wait a
place.
minute. This
I've
judge
done
works
nothing.
for Thurston County and we're suing them. Isn't this?
That's
a
I've never even
coincidence?
been named as a respondent, Your Honor, until I filed that action in Thurston County Superior Court in November. That's why I'm named as a respondent now. I was never named as a respondent in the past. Mr. Eden says he has no problem with me. But now
But
you're
now
putting
all of a sudden he does.
That doesn't make any sense, Your Honor. But I guess so be it.
Okay.
Isn't there
So
some
I've
kind of
included-
immediate appeal?
In 23-000-435, I've included the parties, you folks, may communicate with Jeffrey Eaton in the course of litigation in Thurston County Superior Court number 23-2 -000-435-34. I'll also indicate, Mr. Pardee, the parties may appear in court together, but there's not a
Your Honor,
distance
that's not the right cause number. Right?
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. It's 38-03894. My mistake. Kevin, wait on.
I can say it again, Your Honor, 23-2-03894-34.
Yes, that is correct.
Does that include when I'm at the courthouse, Your Honor, about to go into the courthouse?
No, there's no distance restriction. You can go to and from the courthouse at all.
Well, I'm saying I'm
Anytime-
violating the no contact order by being there and seeing Mr. Eden outside the courthouse.
No, you're not. If it's
Okay.
in the course of litigation, you're absolutely not.
Now, how about when we're trying to come and go from our home and he's got an illegal second driveway and we can't get out? We can't get to our home without going past him and he's always running out there
Yeah,
saying.
and you can do that. You can, again, there's not a distance restriction. There's nothing that restricts you to going to and from your home.
Yes, but you are giving him an order and he is the one that gets in the road and blocks the car. Just because this guy says, I didn't do that, if you believe him, oh my God, but that is not the
If you,
truth. He's
if he
lying.
blocks the road, that's something you can report to the police or obstruct or something like that.
Also, Your Honor, the mental health matters sign will remain in place. Why?
Yeah, I mean, that's up to Mr. Eden.
And
So you heard that he put the fence up.
floodlights and a mental health matters sign.
They're going to continue taking me to court constantly? I mean,
I can't stop them from
it's up to
doing
you
that.
guys.
Well, Mr. Eden, you took me to court. I didn't take you to court.
Okay, so hey,
What are you talking about?
So stupid. Like I said, they started this, not me.
Okay, so stop. It's going to end now. You're free to leave this. Parties are free to leave the Zoom call. You're free to leave. Email copies of the order will be emailed to all parties.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And that's it for today. And if you perceive that, before I go, I'm going to say this. If either party perceives these orders to be violated in any way, you can report that to the police. That can be referred to the prosecutor's office and they can figure out where to go from there. And you're free to go there, Ms. Pardee. So Ms. Webb, could you raise your right hand, please?
Yes,
Do you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yes,
Okay. Before we do that, you're Amanda Amons?
yes, sir.
Is there a Steve Amons here?
Yeah, that's my husband.
Yeah, he come up too. Both folks, you're both listed. How is it that you need an order against the Amons?
Well, I'm requesting it for a more permanent order, actually. I have let her bully me over 2 years now.
You have what now?
I have problems talking now because of my disability. So please bear with me. What did you ask me a question?
Yes. Why do you need an order against the Amons?
Because she is a bully and he is as well.
Well, again,
Please help me.
what's going on? And so who's seated to your, someone's on off camera there to your left. Who is that?
Yes, my caregiver.
Okay. Well, what have they been doing that needs you need an order against them?
Okay, well, Amanda, she goes around and she curses at me pretty abusively. She follows me up in the elevator or in the lobby or in the mailroom, and she stands there and she makes her presence known.
Does she say anything to you or what exactly?
Yes, except not lately in the mailroom. That just happened. She didn't say anything to me. Yeah,
She doesn't
does.
say anything to you?
Yes, she calls me names. She says all kinds of things to me.
Okay. Do you live in the same building?
Or I don't want to repeat how the cuss words. She basically, she takes my picture, she videotapes me, and she calls me a effing retard. She pushes her walker like she was going to go hit me, but she doesn't. She follows me outside wherever I go until I get to where my friends are out there, and then she doesn't follow me anymore. It's been very hard for me to deal with her. The thing is that she lives on the 4th floor, and I sort of live on the 2nd floor, and we have the same elevator. So, like, if I want to go into the elevator, she'll say, "You're not going into this elevator." She basically just tells me that I can't what I can do, what I can't do, and the last incident was. I was walking into the elevator. She was coming out of the elevator. I waited for her to come out, and she looked at me and she said, "F you," really loud in my face. And I said, "Excuse me?" That's all I said. Next thing you know, she's at the office telling them her lies or whatever she says, because I don't know. But I didn't go to the office. And next thing you know, the office gives me a call and says that she's sending out notices to both of us and for harassing. I can't take a person doing this to me for as long as I have. The management has changed. The older management took care of it, and I never received a notice. And whatever she would say to Amanda at that time, it worked for a little while, then she'd go back to being Amanda. Steve, on the other hand, real quickly, he came out and told, it was Gail, myself, and Renee, all residents here at the reserve. And he comes out and he was cussing. He said, "I am going to kill anybody that causes my wife to have a heart attack." And we're looking at him going, "We don't know what you've been told." I didn't say much except, "No, Steve." I said, "Stop." But he wanted to punch Renee out. It was really, really a bad scene. Renee has heart troubles, and of course, she's not part of this, but that's why I put a restraining order on Steve. He doesn't come around me. I will say that, but I don't know what Amanda does tell her husband,
So
but
you
it's
only
pretty
wanted-
scary.
You're only asking for an order against Amanda?
What?
You're asking for an order for both.
But for both.
But I thought I heard you say Steve doesn't come around you.
No, but he doesn't. But then if something happens, like she says something to him, then he comes full barrels. And he
So he
says
does do things to you.
Huh?
Yes.
Yes. What?
Okay.
Are you having trouble?
I'm having trouble hearing this.
Okay, so ma'am, I'm going to need her to testify. If you want to testify again, the woman in the red shirt, zoom back out a little bit there. I mean, I know she's there.
Are you talking about me, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So, I mean, I need her to answer. I don't need you to tell her what to say. So I'm going to hear from the Amons. Is it Amons or Ammons? Amons. And then, so I guess Amanda Amons, could you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, Your Honor.
What's your response to what I just heard from Ms. Forbes-Webb there?
Okay, well, what Tina's claiming is actually what she had been doing to me when I'm there at the reserve. When the other manager left, they started playing these little children games when I would come in from the day or leave for the night. When the elevator would open on their floor, they would do childish things like this. No, 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 no. And then make animal sounds towards me. My car was parked out front in the front parking lot, and it got to the point, Your Honor, I had to move my car to the back parking lot so I could use the back doors, because just trying to get from my car to inside the building, they would have friends yelling out, the whole group of them, Carla, Tina, and all of them, yelling out animal sounds and saying a man, duh, 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 duh. And I went to the manager that was there before the Leah.
So are you the manager now, or are you just another resident there?
Pardon me?
Are you the manager?
No, sir.
So you're both just residents there?
Right. So anyways, these guys have been actually harassing me only when I'm coming and leaving the building.
Who are these guys?
Tina, Carla, the four women that all stick together and smoke together out in the front of the building. They harass other people there too. I've got statements right here that I wasn't able to submit. I also have a statement from my church and my family showing I wasn't even there through the whole summer or the holidays. So according to Tina's statement, this is done on a daily basis. And that discredits what her statement says, because according to this, I've been with my family, the other side of Lacey and in Lakewood through the whole summer. I get there about 8, 9 in the morning. I don't come home till 6, Your Honor. And then I spent the holidays in Lakewood. So a lot of their statements are not fact.
How close do you folks live to each other?
Pardon me?
How close do you live to her?
She lives on the 2nd floor. I live on the 4th floor, but she's come up to my floor, this elevator incident she's talking about, and stood right in front of my elevator and just stares at me. This woman's almost 6 feet tall and she stands up straight. And I'm only 4'11" and a half. I have heart issues. I just had surgery and was in the hospital for a week. I have 22 stitches and staples still in my groin, Your Honor. And she is the one who has threatened to me. And she has a big size poodle that in the past has jumped on me. It's a very nice dog, actually, but she has no control over that dog.
All right.
And as of the witnesses' statements, these 2 shaded ones are from a year ago because they're in my file. So these are not recent incidents that have happened. I wrote went
How
to
long
the
have you
main-
lived there?
I went, pardon me?
How long have you lived at this place?
Going on 4 years.
How long has she lived there?
I do not know.
Was she there when you got there?
Yes, she was there.
Did you get along at first and now?
Yeah, actually, we were all friends, and then I started noticing how they demean people coming out of their cars, or how the way that person parked. Look at Nancy up on the back patio, Fat Nancy. There's another Nancy who's a big woman. These women instigate like children, like they have nothing else to do. I have gone to my counselor, been put on medication for anxiety. I have reported to the manager many times. Every time there's an incident, I have reported it to her. She told me to go get a restraining order. They just happened to beat me to it. I got medical stuff going on in my life, Your Honor. I don't need this crap either. I'm sorry for my language.
I've heard worse this morning.
Yeah, it's just been an ongoing thing, but this statement right here proves that I wasn't even around.
Who's that
all
statement
summer.
from?
So
Who is that from, ma'am?
this is from my church and my family, showing that I was with them in Lakewood and with them through the summer.
So Mr. Ammons, will you raise your right hand, please?
Yes, sir.
Do you swear to affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You can put your hand down. You can sit down.
No.
What's your position of all of this?
The same, it's an ongoing, it's what they're saying that Amanda does is what they do. It's basically, there's 7 to 10, maybe 12 at a time that sit out front in a line and basically do gestures and language and everything else. And I haven't, 8 months, maybe a year, I haven't had any contact with this web or any of them.
So Ms. Forbes Webb, I'm going to come back to you.
Yes.
You have a response to what I just heard and what I assume you just heard.
Yes, I kind of expected it. She lies about lying, and it's kind of, this whole thing is kind of a mess, because I raised my hand to you took an oath to tell the truth.
Yeah, so did they.
And I don't understand what's happening here as far as she's a little bit, I thought she had mental issues, so I didn't try to push. But now I can't do this. She's lied about everything, except I do have a black poodle that she wants to kill, because she said that if he jumps on her, oh, sorry, did I interrupt you? If my poodle jumps on her, it will loosen her stents. Also, we've never been friends, not once, never. I just want to live where I live and be content and not have to worry about getting on the elevator or going into the lobby or getting my mail out of the mailroom. I can't take this.
Your Honor, may I speak?
In a minute.
Okay.
Well, you can testify, right?
Give me just a minute. Go ahead, sir.
This order came after my wife had went and made a complaint at the office about Tina. And it seems like a few days later, a week later, we get the restraining order after she had made a written statement to the office.
What was the content of that statement?
Harassment.
And I called the police, Your Honor.
Yeah, we
also.
did call the police.
So her statement saying my husband threatened her if we called the police, that's so untrue. We're the ones who called the police, and Officer Bell responded to us.
Ms. Forbes Webb, what say you to that? They said they called the police about you. Is that true or not?
They didn't call the police on me. I've seen no police. Nothing.
Yeah, why did they do that?
Sorry?
Why did they call the police on you?
I wouldn't know because I didn't have the police called on me. I didn't see a police officer.
They're telling me the police didn't respond. Is that correct?
Right. Officer Bell said it just sounds like you got a crappy neighbor. And if any
Neighbors
altercation
that didn't get along,
or
and he said that
altercation.
our statement is in the dispatch, the CAT, if the judge wanted to hear it, but he didn't see any reason to write
I see.
a statement and get a number for it. We
Got
had
it.
Never saw you.
So your caregiver to your left there, ma'am, does she live there in the building also, or is she?
She does, Your Honor. But she also has witnessed quite a few things and knows Amanda better than I think. I don't know.
So how long have you lived there in this building, ma'am?
Me or
Yes.
Carla?
Yes.
Me. Oh, I have lived here. I'm going to be going on my 3rd year in February. This place has only been open for 3 years.
And so, well, they just told me you guys have lived here for 4 years. So, was you there when it opened?
No.
just after it opened, and we're
Yeah.
due in February to renew our lease
April.
April.
The manager said it would determine the outcome of this, whether they're gonna renew with us, and I think that's a lot of this. These women are just trying to get us evicted because they don't care for us. But like I said, Your Honor, I've got statements from my church and my family showing I haven't even been there for 8 months, 6 months, except to come home and leave in the morning.
All right, Ms. Forbes Webb, let me come to you. Go ahead, I'll hear from you. When did this all come out of the blue or what?
No,
A lot of it doesn't make that much sense to me.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said. What?
I said a lot of it does not make much sense to me.
No, it doesn't. Myself as well, I don't understand why she finds me this interesting. But I will tell you that I am not the only one. There are many people here in the building that don't go outside and smoke, that have problems with her. Actually, you know, my friend has a temporary restraining order as we speak. She just is a bully. I don't know why she's a bully, but she is a bully. And when you have health problems, I'm in palliative care, you have health problems, it makes it a lot worse when somebody upsets you. And I will say she was accurate about just a few months. She was leaving in the morning, coming back in the evening. And that was nice because there was no problem with her attacking anyone here at the reserve. She's a frequent flyer, as the management said. I don't know what they mean really by that, but I'm assuming she's at the office every day. I'm not a complainer in general.
Really?
But I will tell you that since you put a temporary on her, it's been so relieving to me to know that she can't talk to me, she can't approach me, and this is that I have to say it has brought a lot of de-stressing on my part, and I thank you for that.
All right.
And that was an temporary order for 10 feet.
Right.
Yeah, because Your Honor, may I speak?
Not just yet.
No, okay.
Go ahead, ma'am. You wanted to say something?
I have health problems also.
What sort of facility is this?
Pardon me?
What sort of living establishment is this?
It's a 55 and older, but there are people in there that have care providers or they do physical therapy, and it just depends on their own, what's going on in their own area. I do bingo on Fridays. I go to church every Sunday, Bible study on Wednesdays, Your Honor. I also, some statements I have here from other residents. I help elderly bring in their groceries when I'm there. I I have a whole list of phone calls of elderly residents that call me when they need help or something, and I have to be careful what I do because I can't lift over 5 pounds. I have a pen-to-fem, I have an in-order aneurysm. So me bumping into her and doing this is just outrageous. I mean, she is really fibbing about all this. She really is.
Do you really what?
She's fibbing about me supposedly being a bully, running into her. This is actually what she was doing to me. And that's why I was going to the manager and complaining. Finally, when the manager gave her a write-up, as me as well, for her to stay away from me,
right?
For her not to come near me, and everything. And like I said, it got to the point I had to move my car from the front of the building where the mini mall is and McDonald's, forcing me not even to go out front out there to the back. So I don't see him. I don't associate.
So hang on just a second. Ma'am, did you get a write-up from the manager?
We both did. And the manager actually said, well, this will help you with your restraining order. Because I was getting a restraining order before this. So after she gave me the notice, I went in, and of course I got the temporary. I went in and talked to her. Her name was Carrie. And I asked her, how is it that this is supposed to help me with the restraining order? She goes, well, I don't know. I thought you guys would patch it up. I go, she's been bothering me for 2 years. And she nodded. What did
the write-up say?
Stay away from each other. Sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, stay away. Don't approach. Look the other way. Go the other way.
So here's what's going to happen today. Both of you, all 3 of you, or all 4 of you, I guess. There's kind of a ghost witness off camera there. You all seem like nice people to me. For whatever reason, something happened where you can't really get along. You have said you've been indicated from the manager that you should stay away from them, and them probably the same. You've also told me that since this temporary order was in place, things have been fine. But, ma'am, Ms. Forbes-Webb, I'm going to speak to you specifically. When you're the petitioner and you come to the court, you kind of bear a burden of proof to show by a preponderance of the evidence that it's more likely than not. It's not beyond a reasonable doubt. Based on what I've heard, both from you and from Ms. Amons and Mr. Amons, at this point, I'm unable to find by a preponderance of the evidence that harassment activity has occurred. Sounds like things have gotten better since the temporary order is going to stay today. Sounds like you both have been engaged in a course of conduct, at least over the past, whenever that temporary was ordered. I would just encourage you both to keep that up and stay away from each other. And if any additional problems arise, you can come back. But for the moment, I'm not going to enter an order. Does that make sense, Ms. Forbes-Webb? You understand all that?
He denied it. You can ask him, right?
I'm not too sure who I'm talking to here. I think the woman in red there kind of understood what I was saying.
Yeah. You're denying the order.
Right, at this time, yes. With leave to bring it back if additional problems arise. But based on everything I've heard, I think I can rely on all of you to keep a distance from each other.
Yeah, I know. Okay, well, you said we can come back, so.
This testimony from other folks in the place would help. I hear you say, well, that.
Well, I do have.
Let me finish, man. And again, I have no idea how many people I'm talking to.
Witnesses here. I do have witnesses here. Well, tell me. Okay, well, never mind. This is all right.
So again, that's going to be it for today. And then a copy of this will get emailed to you, both of you.
Thank you.
And you're free to leave. You're free to leave. Forbes-Webb. Speak. Not at this time.
I'm going to say you guys are patient.
And then everybody, let's be on your best behavior out there, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
You have got to be kidding me. What is going on today? This is a joke. This is a joke. Today is an absolute joke. He needs an interpreter.
I need an interpreter when I cannot express myself sometimes.
Oh my God, sir, put that cigarette out. I don't give a crap that you are outside of this. What is wrong with everybody today? You know what, Miss Reed, we're going to start bringing people in person. He's going to learn how to act in a courtroom.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Ma'am? Ma'am? Can you hear it?
No.
Okay.
I have no faith in that. And trust me, out of the day, I'm sitting up here, I'm the one that needs a drink.